everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of the Wheelhouse Knits podcast. My name is Heather Johnston, and I am coming to you from St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. I live here with my husband Adam and my son Sawyer, who is 4. Adam's upstairs and Sawyer's at daycare today, so I thought I would take this opportunity to catch up. It's been about a little over a month. Last time I podcasted, I was supposed to be studying for a credentialing exam, so that is over and done with. I passed, and I am back to being able to knit guilt-free. So I'm happy to have that over with. You can find me on Instagram at the.wheel.house, and I am on Ravelry as the Wheelhouse. I'll put them excuse me, down here on the screen. And I'm usually really good at checking comments on the podcast and Instagram messages and comments. Ravelry is hit or miss, but I do use it actively for my project pages. So I always try and put all my information there, and I do answer when you send me a message there. I just am sometimes slower because I don't always recognize that I have a message. Anyways, today is a sunny, beautiful day outside. I just got off work, and I thought I would try and fit in a podcast because I don't know why, but summer always seems so hectic. Like, we work, we go back and forth to the trailer, but I have done a lot of knitting that I want to catch you up on. I'm gonna show you what I've been working on the most first. It's still wet. I just pulled it off the blocking mats. This is the Salty Air Tea. And so this pattern is by Samantha. I don't know how to say this last name. Guerin. So this is the Salty Air Tea. It is a cropped tee with a beautiful lace panel here. So this is still a little bit damp. I've got to put it back on the blocking mats. My husband bought me this yarn for Christmas last year from Good Vibrations, which is one of our local yarn shops here in St. John. It is Botanical Fibres in the Sepia colorway. So he bought me 3 skeins, and at the time I didn't know what I was gonna do with that, because that's not enough for like a full length sweater for me with long sleeves and a long body. I've never knit a cropped sweater before. Like, I've knit cropped patterns, but I always make them longer. This one I knit exactly to pattern. So it is 8.5 inches from the underarm for the body, and then 1 inch of ribbing. So that for me is quite cropped. And I don't know, this is my first crop sweater. I haven't tried it on since it's been blocking. I am excited. It fits really well when I tried it on before it was blocking. I knit it with 3.5 and 3.25 millimeters. I love it. It's very, very soft. And I saw it on the Hot Right Now page on Ravelry, and I really wanted to knit it, and I liked the dress that was in the photos in the pattern, so I ended up buying something similar that kind of comes in and flows out. I think that's called an A-line. I could be wrong about that, but that cut seems to work best for my body type. And so I thought, okay, well, if I can get a dress that works like that on my body, I think I can get away with a crop sweater and it not look absolutely terrible. So I found the dress, and then once I found the dress, I knit the sweater. So I started this July 20th, 4 days before my credentialing exam, because, you know, procrastination. And I just finished it a couple days ago, so it took me about a month to knit. You can see it's hand-dyed yarn, so I did alternate skeins in the round. You can see there's like a little bit of striping through the body. So that's why I alternated, because it's hand dyed. I knit the yoke with one skein, and then I started alternating after, and I don't think you can tell. I did helical knitting for this, which if you haven't tried for alternating in the round, you really should, because it's really, really easy. Before I was doing helical knitting, I was twisting, and I would always inevitably have a seam running up here because my tension would be wonky. So I'm just going to lay this down so it doesn't totally ruin the blocking process. So then I started doing helical knitting, which could not be easier. So basically you knit until you want to switch to your second skein. You drop your working yarn, you slip 3 stitches from your left hand needle onto your right hand needle, and then you start knitting with your new yarn. You knit all the way around, and then before you come to your like where you last worked those 3 slip stitches, you slip again, and then it is the yarn that you worked with the row before, and it just creates this jogless it's helical, so it's around and around, and you can't tell at all, and it could not be easier. You have to be careful about your tension, like you can't pull too tight. And I did that for my first couple rounds. Like I could tell that I was pulling too tight. It blocked out fine, and then I just kind of had to be like, oh yeah, I haven't done this in a while. Relax your tension, just knit like you normally do. And it worked really, really well. I have a lot of yarn left over, and I can't wait for that to be dry so that I can wear it. I have plans to wear it for, it's our 10-year anniversary this week. So my husband and I were gonna go on a date, and I thought, oh, that'll be nice. I can wear my new dress, I can wear my sweater. But I'm not sure if it'll be dry in time. I've got a fan blowing on it. So after I'm done podcasting, I'm gonna go throw it back out there and hope that it's dry. So that is the Salty Air Tee. And I believe it's a size inclusive pattern, and I did come across some great modifications for sleeve knitting to make them longer sleeve if you wanted to. There's tons of really great comments on people's Ravelry pages. I really enjoyed that pattern. The lace work motivated me to get through the yoke, and then it was just like knitting while I was watching TV around and around and around. It went really quickly, and the fact that it's short sleeves, like you're basically done when you're done the body. It took me like a couple hours to do the sleeves. So that's my first finished object. My second finished object, grab a drink of water. Sorry. My second finished object, I bet you can guess, it's a test knit for Nancy. So these are all finished. This pattern is actually released. This is called the Smoke Gets in Your Eyes Socks, and it's inspired by smoke at the campfire. So this is my sock. This is the Lemonade Shop in the Glenda colorway. So this is a Stellina base. It's just beautiful. It's the simple cable detail that runs the length of the sock. Heel flap and gusset. It has a rounded toe. So I knit this, I test knit this for Nancy. I think it's my 4th one I've knit for her. I knit it exactly to pattern, same length that Nancy did when she did her sample. It was such a joy to knit. So I know I've said on the podcast before that I hate cabling, and I still do. This is a cabled sock. This could not have been simpler to knit. So Nancy has a YouTube page where she has a tutorial for how to do the cable, which she gave the video to the testers before she gave us the pattern, and I watched it a couple times. I have tried cabling without a cable needle before. This is different. So this cable is knit over, I don't want to give anything out, it's a paid for pattern, but it's knit over a few stitches. And what I didn't like about cabling without a cable needle before is that you have stitches that you have to slip and then they're live and they're not on the needle, and I found it fiddly. You don't do that with this. There are never live stitches that are not on some kind of needle. You do not need a cable needle. And I say that as somebody who does not enjoy cabling. You can do this without a cable needle. You can do it. It could not be easier. It's beautiful. It was a pleasure to knit, and it went really, really fast. Couple vanilla rows, couple pattern rows. It just breaks up the sock. It fits really, really well. And I love the texture detail. I haven't worn these yet because I've been waiting to podcast, but they're done. The pattern is on Ravelry. I actually knit these magic loop because I just felt like I needed an extra cable length when I was doing the cabling on my cord. I usually use 9-inch circulars. I know a couple other test knitters did use their 9-inch circulars and had no problem. But for me, the way I hold my circular needles, I just needed a little extra length to my cable. So here we go. They're beautiful. Smoke gets in your eye socks. Proceeds for the first so many days of sales went to, I think it was Hospice New Brunswick. So Nancy has made that donation. They're beautiful. Available on Ravelry. Pleasure to knit as always. So that is my second finished object. My third finished object is a lingering whip. Now I say finished. These aren't like finished, but the knitting is done. So these are my Advent socks. 2022 Advent socks. 2021 Advent socks. I have not blocked these. The ends are not woven in. And so this is them. These are Oh What a Night by the Wool Baron. And the cuff, the heel are Madeline Tosh that I just pulled out of my bucket of leftovers. I can't remember the colorway. So these were an Advent skein of yarn, except it had 31 repeats so that it was for the whole month of December. And so you get a stripe a day. And then I added the afterthought heel on these because I didn't want to break up the stripes. And I just wanted to be able to knit for an Advent skein because I wanted to get the most out of the stripes. Normally I don't care about breaking up the stripes, but for Advent skeins, I typically do an afterthought, or I do toe up so that you get the most out of the stripe repeat. So I struggle with Advent skeins, and I think I've mentioned this before, and this is a me thing and it's personal preference. In my mind, an Advent skein for Christmas is you get one stripe a day, one different stripe a day, and you knit that, and there's like, 24 stripes and then, or 25 stripes, right, to take you to Christmas. So in my mind, it is an individual stripe, one stripe a day until Christmas. That's how I think of an Advent. So I struggle to find skeins of Advent yarn that are not repeatable, right? So like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh my gosh, I lost count. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. No, it is. It's 31 stripes. 31 different stripes. So this does that. 31 stripes to New Year's Eve. And I'm being greedy and I want 24 stripes to Christmas. I don't know why. I just have that stuck in my head. And once you get that in your head, I feel like I can't get it out. because I've had a couple advent skeins before that were repeating. So like you would have 12 different colors and it would repeat twice or something like that. And to me, that's not advent. So, anyways, I did do a afterthought, and it's a little bit wonky. I don't love an afterthought. I'm a heel flap and gusset girl, but I thought it was best for this sock because it really breaks up the stripes beautifully. I did do a couple extra rounds before I started the decreases because I have a high instep and I feel like I just need a few extra rounds to my afterthought heel. So these are beautiful. I just need to weave in the ends. I'm probably not going to block them. I usually only block like a pattern sock, just because I just wear these. I don't really necessarily feel the need to. So that is my third finished object. So that was the Wool Baron 2021 Oh What a Night Advent colorway that took you through the whole month of December. And I am on the hunt for a 2022 Christmas Advent skein. If anybody has any suggestions of like a true Advent, I tried the 31 and I love that it was individual stripes. I just want to be done around Christmas. I don't know what it is. It's totally me. I just want a new pair of socks by Christmas. So if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear if you know of somebody that does that, because I don't know why it's so hard to find. I know the creative knitter does, and I have had her skeins before, so I am open to other suggestions. If anybody has any, I would love to hear them in the comments. And I am gonna move on to my whips now because I have a couple. So, oh, this is actually in half finished object. It's another sock. So this I was working on before. This is Summer Love by Nomadic Yarns. My favorite self-striping sock dyer. This is just a vanilla sock. How I make my socks, Susan B. Anderson. Heel flap and gusset. I did do Nancy's rounded toe on these because I really like it. 2.25 millimeters, 9-inch circulars. I do the whole sock on 9-inch circulars right until the toe, and then I switch to magic loop. So these are just beautiful. It's just a really nice summer colorway. I have the second sock on the needles. I'm gonna be done these in no time. So I've got the leg, the heel flap, and I'm onto the foot. So these will be done really soon. And I've got to go through my bin here and pick out a new vanilla sock. So I bring these like to appointments, or our trailer is on the Kingston Peninsula this summer, and we have to wait for the ferry. So if I am waiting for the ferry like on a Friday sometimes in the afternoon, you might have to wait for like 3 ferry loads before you get on the ferry. So I use that in line, which is awesome. So I get a lot done. And they go really fast on 9-inch circulars for me. My favorite sock bag by Studio Brita. I always have my vanilla socks in this. So that's that. My next sock whip. Oh, I just dropped my sweater whip. My next whip is this zipper sticks. Sorry, this isn't a cute little Christmas bag because this is for a Christmas in July cal. Dana Ray makes. It's running now until the end of August 31st. There's weekly prompts on Instagram. She has beautiful patterns. And I really wanted to join in, so I decided to make one of her patterns. Sorry for the crinkling. I'll see if I can find it. Oh, I didn't print the cover page because it was full length color. I'll put a picture in. These are the Hearth socks. And I am using disclaimer, I'm using a yarn that does not highlight the pattern very well because I really wanted to knit this sock kit that I got last year, and I really wanted to make this pattern, and I didn't care that it wasn't necessarily the best yarn for the pattern, or the best pattern for the yarn. I just wanted the two of them together. So this is on me. I made this decision. The pattern is beautiful. This yarn is beautiful. And I'm 100% fine with how the sock is turning out. It's a Christmas sock. It's cheery. I love it. So this is Peppermint Twist by Chelsea Yarns. So I bought this last year in a kit, and it's just beautiful. And her packaging is like always so lovely. Came with peppermints in the bag and all of this crinkle and like this beautiful velvet bow on it. I love it. So this is Chelsea Luxe. It is 80/20, 400 yards, peppermint twist. So I'm knitting these on 9-inch circulars. I'm like right on theme with these because I even have candy cane stitch markers that I'm using. My mom got these for me from Cricket Cove a few years ago. So this is the sock. So there's the cuff. It's a really lovely textured pattern. So basically, because of the way that this yarn is, like this is what it would look like if you knit a vanilla sock here. A micro stripe, but like it's just kind of a funky Christmas sock, and I am fine with that. It's festive. I wanted a textured sock. I wanted to knit this pattern. I wanted to use this yarn, and I'm enjoying the results. I know some people prefer that their socks are more uniform, and sometimes I do too, but I'm just going with it this time. So you can really see, oh, sorry, the texture there. I've got the heel flap and gusset, and I just finished the decreases. I've got this cute little Snoopy stitch marker too. So Snoopy on top of his house with Christmas lights. I love it. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying this. And it's really squishy. I can't wait to wear these. Like I can just tell that they're gonna be so warm. Yeah. Hoping to get these done by the time the cowl finishes. I have a month. I should be able to, no problem. I find once you get onto the foot, it's a paid for pattern, so I don't want to give anything away, but it's a 6-row repeat, and it's like same thing, like a pattern row with some plain rows. It's really, really enjoyable to knit. So I've got that, and I have one more whip, which I dropped, so I've got to grab it. Okay, last whip. This is the Straya Cardigan. I've showed this before, but I've picked it up again because it is fingering weight. My only other sweater that I have on the needles has a mohair in it, and it's just too hot to knit with that right now. I want to get some sweaters off of the needles because come the fall, I want to knit my fade kit, which is still, like, I'm not very good at this. This is why I'm not good at video games. It's right here. My La Bien-Aimée fade kit for my Comfort Fade Cardi. So, I just want to get these done, and I really want to wear this. Like, I think this would be such a lovely spring fall sweater. So last time I showed this on the podcast, I had separated for the sleeves. This is Andrea Mowry Straya Cardigan. I knit the hat. I showed that a couple episodes. Last time I showed this on the podcast, I believe I was at this pink stripe here. So I've knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stripes, and I'm almost ready for 7. So you knit 12 rows of the, I'm using like an off-white color, and then you knit 2 rows of color. And yeah, this is where I was last time here. And so this is where I am now. this is such a fun thing to knit. I really like it. It's fisherman's rib, and I like the stripes. It motivates you to keep going, but it is slow going because I'm knitting this a little bit oversized, and it's fingering weight yarn and fisherman's rib. So the rows are long and the yarn is small. I really, really like it, and I'm enjoying picking it back up, but it's not a sweater that you could knit on this for 3 hours, and I'm a pretty fast knitter, but you don't make a ton of progress. Like, you know, I've knit on this for a couple hours the other day and I got that far, which is totally fine. It's more a process knit than a progress knit. So I know it's going to be a long-term project because I have a long torso. I want a longer body. Then it has a band that you pick up and knit all the way around the neck, and then the sleeves are also striped, of course. So you need to knit those in fisherman's rib and striping. So it will be a long-term project, but that's okay. I can't wait for it to be done. So hopefully I will pick this up soon. And I've tried it on and it fits really well. I'm really happy with it. This is my first time using this yarn. My friend Nancy Wheeler, Wheel's wife, I chatted with her about this before I ordered it a couple months ago. I think I started this back in February. This is Holst Garn, and I ordered directly from Holst, and I have all kinds of colors on the go. I'm using Almond is like the off-white that I'm using. I have Hyacinth. Candy Floss is the pink. Cool. And Fountain. And these are all on my Ravelry page too. So this yarn is super economical, and this calls for 100% wool. So this it's soft. Like, I know I can wear this next to my skin, and I know it will soften with blocking, which is what Nancy said too when I chatted with her about it before I purchased it. So I'm really excited about this. I love the texture of fisherman's rib. I love brioche. I can't wait. I can't wait to work on it more. And it's nice. It's nice, like summery, springy colors too. So it's not too hot yet to work on, which is good. So that is my only other whip that I have. Although I do have plans. So I was watching some podcasts the other day. Nancy, Wheel's wife, actually has started a podcast, and she has 2 episodes out. I think it's called Knit Sip Happy, if I remember correctly. And so I was watching that, and then when I finished her episode, I watched Sophie's, and then it came up like recommended for you, and it was the Knitty Stew, and the episode name was I saw Halifax in the episode title, and that's Nova Scotia, which is the next province over, and we go to Halifax, you know, pretty regularly. So I was like, oh, that, you know, knitting, Atlantic Canada, right up my alley. So I checked it out. Is a great podcast. So she actually showed a hat, and it is the Shetland Wool Week hat, which is a free pattern. So I printed this out, and it is the Bonnie Isle hat. So this is all free. I just Googled Shetland Wool Week. So I'll show you a close-up. So there's anchors, and my husband is a boat captain. He's a tugboat captain. So we are a nautical family. So this was right up my alley. It's color work. It is a hat. I love it. And so it calls for Jamieson's of Shetland yarn, which we don't have locally. Sorry. I don't know why, like, I don't know, most of my patients are asleep because I work in the operating room, and I don't know, maybe I'm not used to talking so much. Anyways, my throat is like chronically dry. So this is made with Jamieson's of Shetland. So I Googled where to purchase that in Canada, and there was a couple options. And if you are Canadian or you ship to Canada, you know our shipping is absolutely insane. It's astronomical. So I went through all of the places that carried it, and I looked for the cheapest shipping option, and it ended up being it's not here. Oh, wait, just a sec. I don't want to say it wrong. Wabi Sabi. So I think this came from Ontario. And funny enough, the Knitty Stew had actually mentioned this store on the podcast that I watched. So that was just ironic. So it calls for, you had to get 2 balls of one color. So I'm going to go with this one for sure. And then I need to pick 4. Let's see how I can do this. 4 of these ones to go. So we shall see what I pick. But I've got my pattern printed. I've got my yarn. And I am all ready to go. I love a colorwork pattern. Oh, and I forgot. I am not going to be picking some more self-striping from here because I have plans for another project that I forgot about. I purchased this yarn as well, but it kind of doesn't count, or that's what I'm telling myself, because it's for Christmas gifts. So this is Rose Hill Yarns. I got this from Julian Knitter's online shop, and she actually vacuum sealed it and mailed it to me, so shipping was super economical. If I see that a shop offers vacuum sealed yarn shipping to Canada, I am 100% more likely to purchase from them. It comes like in a pancake, super flat, and it just plumps back up. I just took this out of the package, so it's not super plump right now, but it will be just like normal. So these are vintage claws, and I have 2 skeins of it. I didn't do a very good job at rescanning these. So I got one with a green mini and one with a red mini. Okay, so one is for me and one is for my mom, and these are gonna be matching Christmas knits for us. So I'm actually gonna cast on one of these, and it will work for the Christmas cowl that will go until the end of August, and it will be a vanilla sock. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get Adam to skein up one of these. I think I'll give her the red one, and I will knit the green one for myself. And this will be my next vanilla sock. I kind of forgot about these actually. And then I'll have a gift knit ready for Christmas, which is perfect. So that is what's going on with my knitting. I did forget to mention I am wearing my Ranunculus. This is the second one that I have knit. I knit it exactly the same as my first. All my notes are on Ravelry. There's it's beautiful. Amanda, her colorway. I can't remember the name of this colorway, but it is on my Ravelry project page, and it's knit with mohair, 3/4 length sleeves. I have 2 Ranunculus so far. They're both fingering weight and mohair. I love them. They're surprisingly not hot. And I really love that it's not a full sleeve. This is my first sweater that I've knit with 3/4 length, and I love this length. I wear this to work in asthma clinic quite a bit because it's easy to throw on and it keeps me warm, and the sleeves don't get in the way when I am charting, which I love. So yeah, I love this pattern, and I want to knit just a DK one with no mohair. So I think that's going to be in my plans for sometime when the weather gets colder. I knit this one back in January. Sawyer got COVID. He brought it home from daycare. He was a close contact, and then I tested positive on his day 14. I immediately called my husband home because isolating for 28 days by yourself with a 4-year-old in the middle of winter, no thank you. So Sawyer and Adam stayed upstairs, I stayed downstairs and isolated away from them. And I knit this sweater in the time that I had COVID, and it was just such a quick knit. It totally distracted me. I loved it, and I can't wait to knit another one. I know people have knit like 4 or 5 of them, and I know why. It goes so quickly. It's so enjoyable. And I did the helical knitting on this sweater too for the body. Yeah, I will for sure knit another one. I have DK weight yarn, and I like that it doesn't take a whole lot of yarn for fingering weight. Anyways, it does take mohair, which adds to the cost, but I love it. Can't recommend it enough. Okay, and this is book talk. So if you don't care about what books I've been reading, this is where I will leave you. I had to write these down because I have been reading and listening to a lot of audiobooks lately. So I have been working in Sussex quite a bit this summer, which is like a 35-minute drive from my house. And so I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks on my commute. And then where I've been knitting on my sweater and vanilla socks, I can just knit and read at the same time when it's, you know, a minimally patterned item. So that's been really nice. So I read a book that I struggled to finish called Crush in the Cascades. It was kind of like one of those rom-com books. It was cute. Nothing to write home about. It was enjoyable. I just like could not get into it. It took me forever. I enjoyed it at the end of it, but I don't know if I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I couldn't get into it. It took me a pretty long time to finish it. Okay, this book I read for book club. I don't even know what to say about it. I am on Goodreads, and you can read my review on there. It's if you want to add me. Sometimes I can find it difficult to find people on Goodreads, so if you can't find me, send me a message and let me know, and we can figure it out, because I do find it tricky to find people. Sometimes it's not the most user-friendly way to search people. So book club, one of my coworkers told me about this book club that's local to us, and she invited me, and this was the first book that I read with them. It's called Looking for Jane. For the month of July, they picked a female Canadian author. It's by Heather Marshall. Oh, this book. It is about women in the 60s and 70s in Canada who find themselves pregnant, and they are sent to houses supported by the church, the Catholic Church, and basically women's houses to have their babies hid away because they're often unwed, or you know, their child is a product of rape, or they're women of the night, etc. They're basically they're unwed, shameful mothers. That's what they were called in the time period. So this house where they would go, they would have their child, then they would stay to work off their debt. And in this story, the children are given up for adoption. These women do not have the choice to keep their child. And so it goes back between present day and the 60s and 70s. And it, like, one of my coworkers was reading this book, the one that invited me to the group, and I finished this book in 2 days. She was not feeling good, so she wasn't able to read, and I kept texting her, be like, listen, I know you're not feeling good, but I'm gonna need you to rally, because I need to talk to somebody about this book, because I'm fucking pissed. So I cannot recommend this book enough. With everything that is going on with Roe v. Wade in the States right now, and access to safe abortions and women's healthcare, it just like enraged me, and like I don't even know, like it just felt like women in the States are back in this situation that was happening in this book, and that just blows my mind, because it talks about how there was an underground network of Janes in Canada, which a Jane is a female doctor or a male doctor who would perform illegal abortions because they were not legal at the time. And they were safe abortions done by physicians. So you would call around looking for Jane, call clinics, and then when you found someone that said, oh yeah, Jane's here, that meant that you knew that that physician would offer you an illegal safe abortion, so you didn't have an abortion by some sketchy person and potentially die, which you know, happened throughout the book. And it talked about legislation and reform and advocating for women's rights throughout this book. And just with everything that's going on right now, it was an eye-opening book. And I just, like, my coworker, when she finally finished it, she texted me and was like, I stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning reading that book, and like, we need to discuss. I was trying to tell my husband Adam about it, and like, I was so mad, but like in a like spitfire, like motivated kind of way, like, and of course he fully supports, you know, access to women's health and everybody having the right to choose, and you know, he's on my side and everybody's side, and he's like, you're not explaining this very well, but I can tell you're very passionate. So I have nothing but good things to say about this book. It was very, very good. I highly recommend you read it. Oh gosh, yeah. I feel like I need to read it again. And there are some good twists in it. And now that I know what happens, like, I think I need to go back and reread it. It was very good, if you couldn't tell that I liked it. I also read Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I know people really like her, and I liked this book. It was enjoyable. Yeah, it was good, but like, it didn't make me feel passionate like Looking for Jane did. I listened to The Heir Affair and The Royal We by Heather Cox. I listened to those on audiobook on my way to work. They were so cute. I loved them. It's a series of 2 books about an American who goes to the UK, falls in love with a prince, and their life. And I know that's like the age-old story, but it was really good. Modern day, had a lot of, you know, commentary, kind of like Will and Kate tie-ins. It was enjoyable. Like, if you're looking for just like a lighthearted read, I really liked those. I like that they went together. I listened to them back to back. I also read The Christie Affair by Nina de Gramont. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. And it was also really good. It was about Agatha Christie. It was one of the Reese Witherspoon book club books that I didn't get to read last year, I think it was. So kind of catching up on that this year, but I enjoyed it. And I have no books on the go right now, no audiobooks, no books that I'm reading. So I have a couple of suggestions that people sent me last episode that I'm gonna go download, and I need to get kind of one of each. I usually have an audiobook and an actual book on the go because of travel and then knitting. So I haven't been in this situation in a while. I need to get 2 new books. So I'm gonna go do that, get them ready for the weekend, and commuting again because I work in Sussex twice next week. So I want to make sure I have some books. Anyways, I think that is it for me for today. I am gonna go send these upstairs with Adam to wind my yarn, go lay my salty air tea back down so that it can dry and hopefully not dry wonky. I have it sitting over the edge of the couch in my knitting room, and I'm just praying that it doesn't crinkle. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. I really appreciate you checking out the podcast. This is just for fun. I enjoy seeing what other people knit and what they're working on. It gives me so much inspiration as I buy yarn for a Bonnie Isle, you know, hat, because I saw that in a podcast and I thought, oh, I want to do that. So I hope you are enjoying it too. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time.